to the bread kitchen. Today I'm going to make a poppy seed roll, which is a loaf that's quite popular in Poland and Hungary. It's a lovely soft sweet bread with an icing. Let's start by making the dough. For this delightful bread I've got 350 grams of a good strong bread flour, 120 grams of lukewarm milk, a lightly beaten egg, 50 grams of melted butter, 2 tablespoons of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt and 2 teaspoons of dried yeast. Add the sugar and the yeast into the milk, mix well, then leave for 10 minutes for the yeast to get going. Put the flour and the salt in a large bowl and mix well. Make a well in the centre and add in the beaten egg, the melted butter and the yeast milk sugar mixture. Then mix to a smooth dough. And the ingredients should come together to give a nice dough which leaves the hands clean. Now I'll just pop the dough on a surface and knead it now for about 10 minutes until it's smooth and elastic. So after about 10 minutes of kneading I'll have a nice smooth dough which is very springy. Pop it in a lightly greased bowl, cover and leave in a warm place to allow the dough to double in size. To make the filling for this loaf I've got 100 grams of poppy seeds, 75 grams of raisins and 75 grams of sugar, 50 grams of butter, 50 grams of ground almonds, 50 grams of chopped mixed peel and half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Pop the poppy seeds in a bowl and pour on some boiling water. Now leave to cool. Once the seeds have cooled, you can drain them through a fine sieve. Now you may find a few poppy seeds go through the sieve and into the liquid below. That's not a problem. Pour the liquid back into the original bowl, swish it around, then pour back through the poppy seeds. That'll capture the rest of the seeds. You can throw this rather horrible looking liquid away. Melt the butter in a pan, add the poppy seeds, then cook with stirring for 2 minutes. They smell really nice. After 2 minutes, remove from the heat and add in all the remaining filling ingredients and mix well. Now we can put this aside to cool. My dough's just about doubled in size, so I'll turn it out onto a surface, knock it back, and then I'll just knead it gently for a couple of minutes. So having got my dough, I'm now going to roll it out into a rectangle 35 centimetres by 25 centimetres or 14 inches by 10. One of the nice things about this dough is it's kind of self-lubricating, it doesn't stick at all. Here's a little trick to get the corners more square, just kind of pick them up and stretch them. So I've got my rectangle of dough, I'll put on the filling, then spread it evenly over the dough, but leave about ½ an inch all the way around the edges. Okay, that's nicely evenly spread and I've got a border all the way around. Now starting from the long side, roll this up like a Swiss roll. It's a little tricky at first, but once you get it going, it'll come nicely. There we go, it's coming. Now press the edges together into a nice seam. Now transfer carefully, seam side down, onto a lightly greased baking tray. Then I like to pinch the ends together and just tuck them underneath the loaf, neaten up the ends. That's looking really nice, so now I'll pop this into a large plastic bag, or you could just cover it with some oiled film. Now I'll leave it in a warm place for about 30 to 45 minutes or until it's doubled in size. This has risen really well, so now I'm going to pop this in the oven at 170 fan oven, 190 normal oven for about 30 minutes or until it's lovely and golden brown. After about 30 minutes or so, it'll be lovely and brown, and we can leave it on a wire rack to cool. Now for the icing, I've got 120 grams of icing sugar or confectioner's sugar, and I've put it in a small pan. I'll add in a tablespoon of lemon juice and mix. It's a little bit thick, so I'm going to add a teaspoon of water and carry on mixing. Well, that's made it quite a nice texture. It sort of gently flows off a spoon. Now I'll turn the heat on to very low and just gently heat this icing to make it a little bit more fluid. And once it becomes nice and fluid like this, we can take it off the heat, then drizzle it onto the loaf, then finish off with some flaked almonds. You might just want to lightly press them into the icing. Slice it through with a sharp knife and enjoy. I really like this loaf. It's nice for breakfast and with an afternoon cup of tea. But for me, the thing that really makes it is the lemony icing. I hope you enjoy making your poppy seed roll, and do join me next time in the bread kitchen.